Carpe Sus when hunting up in North Texas, and this is going to be my last video with my D&T Optics ThermNight TNC225R multispectral weapon sight that I've got mounted on a 6.5 Grindle that's shooting Federal TNT 90 grain ammunition, factory ammunition, and all of that's going to be mounted on a man-belly tripod and ball head. Now the wind is blowing directly towards this hog. I'm looking at the hog from inside the truck, and I'm going to get out and get on my rifle as quickly as possible, and that's where the video is going to pick up. Notice he's going to start sniffing the air, and that's not a good sign. I figure he's about to run and I need to shoot right away. So I get everything up and running. Nice hit. Boar takes off running. Not enough lead on that shot. I see him start to falter here, so I know he's going down. A quick quality assurance as he goes down just to make sure he's anchored. According to GPS, I've got a hog down at just over 166 yards, and checking with the laser rangefinder, it shows 166 to 168. Nice correlation. Excellent. The boar came in at 190 pounds.
Brass Catcher by Tactical Brass Recovery.
While leaving the property, spotted this next group of hogs that are out there at about 263 yards. And you can hear the truck still running in the background. I'm going to leave the truck running as I make my advance on these hogs. Sometimes if you turn off the truck, they'll hear the engine stop, and that'll spook them. Now here I've moved up to 153 yards. Just taking inventory of the hogs that I see. And I'm going to move up a little further. And that's going to be a great big sow. I should have targeted this sow first. But as I checked the status of the other hogs, I got a little bit greedy. I'm thinking I could get a twofer with one of these groups of these shoats. And these two line up right here. I drop one. I do pick up a runner. And I try to pick up this sow. There she is. And I lose her behind the foliage in the landscape. So I came away with a 65-pound male shoat and about a 30-pound gilt. While right now I'm having trouble finding factory TNT ammunition, I found out that Druid Hill Armory will special load the ammo. So I had 1,000 bullets shipped to them. They loaded it up for me and sent it to me. And this is a service they provide. So if you want to have custom loads done by Druid Hill Armory, they can do them for you. After getting zeroed, found out that Ben was going to be shooting a 223 with 75 grain AAC Saber Blade black tip ammunition. And on that rifle he's going to have a Super Hogster from Bearing Optics. And it's going to have a laser rangefinder on it as well. And he's got a coyote out in the field that I didn't know was there. He had spied the coyote, told me that there was one out in the field. I didn't know where it was, and by the time I figured out where it was, he's on his rifle and he's shooting. And this is how it went down. He's calling, I start calling. That was a beautifully placed headshot just underneath the right eye, and Ben came away with a 28-pound male coyote at 115 yards. We moved on to the next property where the landowner requested we not use the video for privacy reasons, but Ben came away with a 180-pound boar at 55 yards. I managed a 160-pound boar at 60 yards, and the two of us hit this sow several times, a 140-pound sow at 275 to 415 yards. So each of the circles show where bullets were recovered, and I've labeled whose bullets they were. Ben's 223 from this side had not expanded, just the tip was damaged, and on the opposite side we had a 223 protruding from the skin. I took the recovered bullets, washed them off as best as I could, and then soaked them in hydrogen peroxide, which got rid of a lot of the organic material that was in between the petals or inside the bullets themselves. And this is what the TNT bullets looked like. And this is what Ben's Saber Blade bullets look like. They didn't open up really at all. This is a top-down view. Much to our surprise, we found a projectile that wasn't ours. It's a piece of number 5 copper-plated bird shot that from where we found it indicates that she was probably shot in the butt while running away. 2 days later, and I'm back at it in a field that is irrigated. The ground is nice and soft, and the hogs have been hitting it, and so the landowner asked if I would stay and wait for hogs. And this is what the land looked like on my side of the fence. The pivot field is the next field over, but this field also gets watered, and hogs have been hitting this field first, and that's why I'm set up here. Several hours into my hunt, I see a hog in the distance with the infrared finder from Tech Savvy Optics that I have mounted on top of my truck, and right now that bore's out there at about 400 yards. As soon as I figured out which way the hog was going, I got out and got on my Super Yoter LRF on my rifle, and the hog's out there at about 380 yards. And then I've also got the TNT Optics ThermNight going as well, and there's the hog in the distance, and I'm going to meet it. This is one of those almost ideal situations where the wind is blowing towards me, blowing quite strongly, so the hog's not going to hear me, not going to smell me. If not for some cattle in the background, it would be perfect. This is partway through the stalk, and the view from the ThermNight. You can hear the engine running in the background. I've left the truck on again. And by this time I've moved way off to the left in order to try to clear some cattle in the background. And you can see the light from my laser rangefinder as I'm starting to light up the hog. Now you've got the side-by-side views. And for this hunt I've changed rifles. I'm now shooting a Lone Star Armory TX50 multi-purpose carbine enhanced at 6.5 Brindle, as you would imagine. Making sure everything's clear. At this point in the stalk, I'm completely set up. I see the hogs coming towards me. I'm just waiting for it to clear the cattle. I scan ahead. Then I go ahead and I'm going to scan back to the left to see if there are any more hogs coming in. I don't see any. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this hog. It's going to be about 60 yards from me and about 252 yards on the ThermNight on the right-hand side. I stayed on him to make sure he didn't get back up. He's going to be the last hog of the week. Coming in at 165 pounds.
Carpe Susque.